Got anything on you?
I'm at my house.
Okay, I don't know. I'm asking you. What's your name?
Gervonta.
Gervonta. What?
Gervonta
is your first name?
Yeah.
Okay, what's your last name?
They're saying he can get anywhere up to 7 years if convicted of all charges, right? When you break down the situation, when you're a celebrity or an athlete and you have money.
What began as a quiet federal sweep has now grown into a major investigation, one that could seriously impact Tank Davis's reputation. Authorities recently found large amounts of undeclared cash hidden inside Tank's Florida mansion. This discovery came after reports surfaced that Davis had been using cash to purchase high-end jewelry. Investigators suspect the money isn't tied to any official income sources, raising strong concerns about possible money laundering. As a result, federal agents are now taking a fresh look at Tank's long history of legal and financial red flags.
Gervonta Davis, world champion, man. Oh, man, not again, dog. You the big dog, man. Hey, you Baltimore's finest, man. Yeah, across the Delaware Bridge, right? Yeah, that's him. That's you. Yeah, man.
But this time, it's not just Davis under the spotlight. The shadow of Floyd Mayweather Jr., Tank's former mentor, promoter, and longtime influence, is also looming large over the case. These developments come on the heels of Mayweather being named in a recent million-dollar real estate scam involving a fake company that allegedly defrauded investors. The timing of both events has fans and analysts wondering, was Davis influenced or even groomed into similar actions while under Mayweather's guidance?
Hey, Devontae, what do you have to say about the charges against you?
Devontae, you were charged. You got nothing to say. Guys, come with me. I'm fine.
Did you punch that woman in the face?
You got nothing to say.
Right now, 4:30, a boxing star bonding out of jail in Broward County and refusing to answer.
Tank Davis has followed in Floyd Mayweather's footsteps, both inside and outside the ring. The flashy lifestyle, the expensive cars, the wealth, and unfortunately the controversies too. But now, as federal agents dig deeper into Tank's finances, some are saying the similarities go beyond surface level. Just like Floyd Davis has a troubling record that includes domestic violence incidents, public altercations, and now potential financial wrongdoing.
This had a history of assault charges and more. On September 19, 2017, an arrest warrant was issued for Davis, who was being accused of first-degree aggravated assault. The charge was later changed to a misdemeanor second-degree assault, which carries a maximum potential sentence of 10 years or a fine of $2,500 or both. At the court, Anthony Wheeler, a childhood friend, complained that Davis punched him on the side of the head with a gloved fist. He then stated that he was diagnosed with a concussion at the hospital. The incident took place at Upton Box.
The cash in question reportedly came to light during follow-up proceedings related to the 2023 burglary at Davis's mansion in Parkland. That incident took place while Davis was serving time for a 2020 hit-and-run case. During the burglary, millions of dollars worth of luxury items were stolen, including high-end cars like a Lamborghini Urus and a Ferrari SF90. At the time, the sheer amount of wealth raised eyebrows. But now, federal officials are re-examining everything with a more suspicious eye.
In March 2021, he was indicted on 14 counts for allegedly causing a serious car crash after running a red light after a November 2020 birthday party in downtown Baltimore. His Lamborghini struck another car and left it smoking, sending the occupants to the hospital, including a pregnant woman. He allegedly left the scene in a Camaro that pulled up minutes later. On February 16th, Davis accepted a plea deal that saw him plead guilty to leaving the scene of an accident involving bodily injury, failing to notify an owner of property damage, driving on a suspended license.
The cash sources say the large sum of money currently under investigation was never listed in Davis's tax filings or recorded in any of his banking documents. In fact, it wasn't stored in the bank at all. It was kept inside his home. This kind of off-the-record cash hoarding is a major red flag in financial crime probes. Multiple federal agencies are now involved, signaling that this case is being treated with serious attention. On top of all this, the situation has also reignited interest in Davis's rocky breakup with Mayweather Promotions. For years, Davis openly expressed frustration about how Floyd was managing. His career YouTuber show Busy Adult recently weighed in, saying Davis's real issue isn't money, it's legacy.
Beyond that case, he also still had a hit-and-run accident case that was still hanging over his head from a couple of years ago. And so he finally went before the judge for sentencing, and he ended up getting 90 days of home detention along with 3 years of probation. So as of right now, it's reported that he's spending those 90 days with his trainer, Calvin Ford, and looking forward to moving past this 90-day home detention.
Even though Davis has often been promoted as a face of boxing, he still hasn't faced a top-tier lineup of elite opponents. Many point the finger at Mayweather's influence, claiming it held Davis back from achieving true greatness. Gervonta didn't. Know that you could be the face of boxing without actually building your legacy show. Explained in a recent video, he looked up one day and realized, I'm still hungry. That desire for meaning, for recognition, for more than just flashy stats and pay-per-view success might be fueling Tank's unpredictable behavior. Just recently, the WBA lightweight champion shocked fans by announcing his retirement, saying he just wants to earn his money and stay out of the spotlight.
I don't want boxing more. I want to do therapy, right? But I feel as though if I do therapy, it will lose the fire that I have inside me. I want everything out of me where so I don't never think about fighting again. I don't think about even getting angry, you know what I mean? Because I have 2 girls, 2 daughters. I'm wanting to be much softer, you know.
In his own words, Davis said, I want to be living without being seen. Some fans took it as a sign of a fighter finding peace, but now others think it may have been a subtle way of stepping back before more damaging truths come to light. Ironically, Tank is still scheduled to face Lamont Roach in a rematch set for August 2025 in Brooklyn, a fight he's describing as one of his final appearances. Whether that bout actually happens could depend on what comes out of the ongoing investigation, if formal charges are filed or his assets are frozen. Davis's boxing career could be cut short well before 2025. Meanwhile, Floyd Mayweather's own legal troubles continue to pile up.
I felt like I wasn't supposed to be in there.
Hey, take that shit fly right here. I ain't gonna lie, your beard is finally doing
it was a learning experience. You know what I mean? It showed me that that's not where I want to be. And I got kids, you know what I mean? I got kids I got to take care of. I got family, friends, and everything I got to take care
of Mayweather was recently hit with a lawsuit accusing him of using his name and image to mislead investors in a massive real estate fraud. The lawsuit claims Floyd pretended to own properties that were never actually in his name, while Floyd has denied playing any direct role in the scam and insists he had no part in running the operation. The allegations have only added. More damage to his public image. Fans are starting to connect the dots. Davis looked up to Floyd. He copied his lifestyle. He built his brand off Floyd's name, but he may have also inherited the darker parts of Mayweather's playbook from domestic violence issues to hiding stacks of cash. The parallels are becoming hard to overlook.
You guys are talking about what Gervonta Tank Davis said, talking about him pricing himself out, saying that he won 150 M's for his rematch with Ryan Garcia. Y'all want to know what I think about that whole video? It looks like Gervonta is on the outskirts. Listen, man, where everything is happening, dude, all these fights are being made over there. It just looks like Gervonta is on the outskirts looking for the perfect op. But at the same time, talking about how big of a brand he is, how much.
At the heart of it all is a troubling truth. Davis is 30 years old in peak physical condition, but mentally and emotionally he seems burned out. He's fed up with boxing, frustrated with his legacy, and now possibly tangled in financial activities that reach beyond the sport. Federal agents are watching, and so is the entire boxing world. If this investigation ends with charges, it could mean a dramatic fall from grace for someone once seen as the next Mayweather, but it could also serve as a powerful warning. When money and fame are put ahead of values and personal growth, things eventually fall apart. As Chow put it, money isn't the bill, you won't be happy. So now, with Davis's future on shaky ground, the big question remains, is this the end of Tank's fighting career or the beginning of his biggest battle yet?
For me, go get the money. It's right there. The bag is right there. Go get it. I will go get the money because these fights are going to always be there. These boxers are always going to be there to fight because none of them are making the type of money that you're making. Not saying they're not making the money, but they aren't making Canelo and Tank money.
Right now, conversations about Tank Davis are starting to feel more like sirens and casual boxing talk, while fans were still breaking down his surprising draw against Lamont Roach, a fight many thought he'd easily win something far more serious. Was going on behind closed doors. And once again, it's all about money. Not just what he earned in the ring, but the kind of money that doesn't get reported, that stays hidden in shadows. The kind that brings lawyers and federal investigators knocking. Suddenly, Tank's push for headline-making fights like one with Jake Paul doesn't seem like a branding move. It looks more like a last-ditch attempt to flip questionable money into clean, reportable income before time runs out.
Fighting for the money. You ain't saying Mayweather the promotion's trying to make the most money off of Tank possible. You saying he fighting for the money.
If he said he went in there 0 times and requested the big fights, obviously he don't really care about the big fights. He just want to get the money, in which he's doing a good job at.
I mean, maybe he just let his team, come up with who they think should be next for him, and maybe that's why he hasn't gone in there, because anytime we see him, hear him after a fight, well, got to sit down with Calvin. And
insiders in the boxing world say Davis has quietly been under federal scrutiny for...
Insiders in the boxing world say Davis has quietly been under federal scrutiny for several months, while no formal charges have been announced. Yet the investigations are said to focus on possible money laundering, hidden income, and links to criminal networks. These types of whispers aren't new in boxing, a sport that's always had one foot in the streets, especially for fighters who rose quickly from rough beginnings. But with Davis, the situation has reportedly gone far beyond rumors. Some sources say his team has even been warned that his assets, including bank accounts, homes, and business ventures, could soon be frozen, depending on what the investigators uncover.
Gervonta's going to fight Jake Paul in November. And then we'll see what happens if there's an AJ fight. Be interested to go from Gervonta Davis to Anthony Joshua, but I don't think the Chavez fight is terrible. I think it's a smart...
This isn't just speculation anymore. Observers have noticed a strange shift in Davis's behavior lately. He's been rushing to schedule fights outside of his usual weight class, showing interest in spectacle matchups rather than the serious legacy. Defining Fights fans expect he's also been turning up in circles that feel far removed from elite boxing. That's where Jake Paul came in on paper, a 195 lb exhibition bout between a proven lightweight like Davis and a U2 return cruiserweight boxer. Like Paul makes no sense. Davis has spent his career dominating the 130 to 140 pound range. Paul usually fights around 200. The weight difference alone should have shut the idea down. Yeah, I'd be down.
Yeah, I'd be down. Let's run it. I'd be super, super down. I don't know if
Gervonta needs Jake Paul. Let's be clear, right?
Is there a height limit in boxing?
But it didn't. In fact, people close to the situation say Davis's camp was eager to make it happen. Why? Because this fight wasn't about titles or legacy. It was about fast cash. A matchup with Jake Paul would bring in millions, and these deals often operate outside the strict regulatory systems that traditional boxing promotions have to follow fewer questions. More flexibility, pay-per-view profits flow quickly, and it's easier to move money around. The Paul fight wasn't just an opportunity, it was an escape plan. With Davis possibly facing asset freezes and financial restrictions from formal bouts, the Paul matchup could have given him a way to move.
Gervonta Tank Davis, 13 sellouts in a row, 3 division champion. You and him were very close to fighting. Will we see that in November?
Yeah, no, we're working on it behind the scenes to make that happen, and obviously that's a fight where the fans are going to win, and it's going to be the biggest event of the year.
What weight would you fight him at?
We're working on it, but it'd be an exhibition most likely.
Go ahead. If people want to know, can you bring Glory back to Cleveland after that embarrassing?
These kinds of high-profile exhibition fights often involve shell companies, crypto transactions, and overseas wire transfers methods Davis's team may have hoped to use to keep his financial life moving, even if domestic accounts were frozen. But the fight didn't happen while the timing fell apart, and the draw against Roach only made things worse. Tank needed a clear win against Lamont Roach to keep his market value high and make the Paul fight irresistible. Instead, He walked away with a controversial draw. Many believe Roach actually won the fight, and that Davis only avoid a loss thanks to questionable judging, especially with a knockdown in the 9th round that was waved off the controversy, hurt Davis's credibility at a time when he needed to look like a top-tier draw.
How real or what was to it with you and Tank actually being a thing? Was that something that was talked about?
Yeah, no, it was highly talked about and in negotiations and almost ready to make happen, but he has to do his rematch with Lamont and get that W, and then we'll be able to run it back. But me and Gervonta were scheduled to fight for sure.
Behind the scenes, everything was starting to unravel. People close to the negotiation say Jake Paul's team began to lose confidence in Davis's stability, both professionally and personally. Paul, who's become a smarter, more serious fighter, didn't. Get dragged into a legal mess or risk a scenario where Davis couldn't even access his own earnings. That's when the deal quietly fell apart. Though both sides put out vague public statements, the real reason was clear: too much attention, too many legal questions, and not enough time to cover the money trail.